Hello, you join me for another episode of modelling an RBS15 missile for Supreme Ruler 2030. Well, Supreme Ruler in general. So the tips and tricks in this can be applied to both. It's sort of the export at the end, as was said in the last episode, that makes a difference. So in this episode, we're going to finish off the model. There's these two little fins here, these four little lumps here that need adding, and then I think it's probably then ready to texture. So we're going to have to roughly estimate this size on here, but we're going to add it as separate models and then just mirror it. Fairly simple that way. So we'll start with a cube. It needs to be far smaller. Starts just before the end of the tail. And we'll just shrink that down. Go into edit mode. Make this a bit longer. Make it a lot thinner. Not too long now. That's probably about right, actually. Thing is, might not even need to change this for this kind of scale. Cube might be alright. Might just expand the base a little bit, just stretch it out, give it a bit of a slope. Yeah, maybe make it a little bit shorter. Like so. Just bring it out a bit. Make the base a bit bigger. We'll just select the bottom face, scale. I like 1.2. And that might be a bit too long now. You know what we'll do? We'll shrink it in the S, in the Y. Shrink it in the X as well. And then we'll just scale by 1.2. And I think that would probably be alright now. Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to have to rotate this a little bit. What I'll just do is I'm going to try to stick it to this face up here. So we're going to stick the magnet on. Like so. And we'll just lock a I think that'll be fine. And then we'll just move it over a little bit so it's merged. Then we want to rotate it so it sits flat. So that's not quite there. And then we need to rotate it in the other direction. Like so. I think that could be done with sliding back a little bit. So we'll do that. And I think that'll do. So yeah, I think that'll be fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just duplicate this 4 times. So go back into edit object mode. Go to modifiers. Add a modifier. Mirror modifier. Now we need to mirror it relative to this object. So like so. Yeah, so doing an X and a Y relative to missile body. See, now we have 4 of these. And then we'll just accept. Right, apply. So then what we want to do is we want to just merge it all together. And I can never remember, I think you just do J. Nope, J doesn't work. And then we join. And that's what one object. So then the next two things to do are these two little fins on the top. It looks like there's something there as well. I can't really see it too well, so I'm going to leave it out so we don't go too high with the poly count. So we're at 514 now. So we want to make something very similar to that other object, looking at it. So we're going to, again, create a new cube, shrink it, and it needs to be about halfway along the missile, so probably about there will do. And then swap into edit mode. And we're not going to super detail this, as I think it would be kind of pointless, but making it sort of a trapezoid almost might be ideal. So make that a bit longer, like so. And then what I want to do is shrink the top in the y-axis, the x-axis, like so. Then we want to slide the top edge quite a bit. Oh yeah, this is the opposite way around. So this needs to get a little bit back, like so. And then the other end will go a lot further, like this. I think that's pretty good. I think that's good enough. Then we just need to make this with the face, like so. I think it probably needs to go up a little bit, like that. Yeah. Then we need to rotate it in the y-axis, get a decent angle. So that's pretty much flush. Now what I want to do, again, we want to just duplicate this. So go back into object mode. Do I want to drop this a little bit? No, I think that'll be fine as it is. Again, need to go back to modifiers, generate a mirror modifier, put it relative to the missile. Just use X this time because there's no one on the bottom here. We're all up here. And then apply. And then what we'll do is we'll just join the objects again, like so. So I should select the cylinder first in this case. It's the first object, the object everything joins to. So there we go. So that looks like our missile completely modelled now. Obviously, it's not going to have this convenient mounting bracket. So now what we want to do is we want to start texturing this. So what I'm going to do is go to material, add a new material. Doesn't even bother what the name is. And then we're going to open the UV editing window. So I'm going to select all. I'm really lazy. I could optimize this, I could spend ages, but Smart UV project tends to work really well. Put a bit of a margin in, 0.01. I tend to leave all the settings separate. So, and then you go. You have it unwrapped, just like that. So now we need an image. We're not going to use a principled BSDF. Well, we are, but we're going to replace it with an image texture. So first of all, we need to create the image. So new image. We'll just call this RBS15. I'm going to leave it all as black. I'm going to use a 1K texture. No real point going any higher than that for Supreme Ruler. I mean, you can do 2 and 4K images. I think 4K still works, but you're just adding a lot of file size to something you're probably not going to see that much detail on, in all honesty. So, new image. See, my thing is now black. And if I open the render window, oh right, yeah, and I press render, see there's nothing there yet. Oh, we'll go back to modeling. So now, see, it's only white in there. What we want to do is go to the base color, select image texture. But because I haven't saved this yet, like, I need to save it first. So image, save as. We're just going to save it there. RBS15.png. Then we want to open. And now if we hit render, it's now black. So now we can go into the texture painting. And we could just paint this as is. So I want that color. We have the other image here. I'm going to just use the pipette here, the eyedropper they call it. Select the grey. Then we'll go back to our image. And I think we can get away with painting basically everything. This black could change a little bit. Were to paint from like here. Now, what we can do, we can select, and I can never remember how the selection works. What we can do is select all, then we'll just unselect these, just so it acts as a bit of a mask for us. Probably is a quicker way to select all these. I don't know it. I'm no Blender expert. Go see Blender Guru if you want to see a Blender expert in action. Now I've masked selected these, you can only paint this. But because we've unselected them, we'll paint everything but this. But what I want to do is just start painting it like that. And what I should have done actually is by the X and the Y on there. So you'll see now on here it's painted both sides, and because I've got this on, it's not painted like that. So we're just going to keep going. We're going to paint this all grey. And if we wanted to mask change this later, we can always photo edit it in a different bit of software. So I'm going to use GIMP. You'll require a different bit of software to export the image as well. So we can theoretically, I think, paint on here. Yeah, but that goes over the lines, which is not great. I have noticed Blender sometimes does this where it just doesn't want to paint in the lines sometimes. And I have no idea why, but if anyone has any idea why, please do tell me, because it annoys me. You have to like kind of zoom in. Of course, the other way to do this is if you didn't want to hand paint this all and you're really lazy. But what I've got to do is I've got to select the rest of the nose cone. Or rather, deselect the rest of the nose cone. And then, yeah, we want the bits as well. Go select invert. And then we just go to the fill. Boom. missile painted. So instead of having to struggle like I did, you can just do this if you've got large areas that just need painting. Don't forget to save the image. So there we go, a nice green missile. Now I wouldn't have tried and applied text in here, but so this sort of RBS Mark 15 I wouldn't write on in Blender. I don't really have a good way of doing it. So what we'll just do is we'll just have a look at this black on here, which to be fair, I think that black would do just fine. Just need to do a little bit of painting down here. So we'll just select this face because we only want to paint on this face. And we'll just so there we go, we got that there, and then we'll probably have to put a port on the back. So what we'll just do is we'll do the same here, and we'll just select the face here. It needs to be roughly painted on, I think. No, because this would actually be lit. When we fire this, we might just need to put a bit of an orangey colour on here. I'm thinking maybe something like that. There we go. So I think this image is kind of done for now. So you can see it's like that. But one other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to the modelling, and I'm going to just go and find the shading and set shade smooth. Now we'll just do a quick render. And there we go. There's our missile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it at that for this episode, and we'll pick up on all the other bit of texturing and the export in the next episode. I'll see you next time.